Hi, hello. So let's dive in with our next topic sa Criminal Law Book 2, which is crimes against the fundamental law of the state. Okay, so eto tinawag siya na crimes against fundamental law of the state because, well, ano ba yung fundamental law natin? Okay, ang fundamental law ng bansa natin is the 1987 Constitution. So, ibig sabihin, itong mga crimes under this title daw, they violate certain provisions of the Constitution. Specifically, the Bill of Rights. Okay? Nababiolate nila yung Article 3. Some provisions of Article 3 ng 1987 Constitution. That's why it is called crimes against the fundamental laws of the state. Okay? So, ano ba itong mga crimes under Title 2? So, we have arbitrary detention and expulsion under Section 1. So, this covers from Article 124 hanggang Article 127. Okay? Yung arbitrary detention, delaying the delivery, delaying release, and expulsion. Okay? Then we have those crimes classified as violations of domicile. So from Article 128 hanggang Article 130. Okay? Yung violation of domicile, search warrants maliciously obtained or abuse in the service of those legally obtained. O kaya naman searching domicile without witnesses. Lahat yan is classified as a violation of domicile. Okay? Then we have under Article 131, prohibition, interruption, and dissolution of peaceful meetings. And lastly is yung mga crimes that is considered as against religious worship. Under 132 and 133. Okay? Like interruption ng religious feelings, offending ng religious feelings. Okay? So, yan yung mga crimes under Title 2. So, like I said earlier, they are called crimes against the fundamental laws of the state because they violate certain provisions of the Bill of Rights. Right? So, for example, uh, under Section 2, Article 3. Well, dumunta tayo sa Section 1. Section 1, Article 3, dapat memorize natin to. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, and property without due process of law. Okay? So, hindi pwedeng kunin or i-deprive ka dun sa specifically liberty mo, kalayaan mo, without due process of law. Okay? So, kapag, let's say, ang isang public officer, okay, is dineprive ka ng liberty nang hindi dumadaan sa tamang proseso, walang due process, then saka papasok yung arbitrary detention. Diba? O kaya, delay in the delivery or delaying release. Let's say, dapat laya ka na. May order na, nalaya ka na. Pero, hindi in-execute yung order na yun. Hindi ka pa rin pinalaya. So, nade-deprive ka ng liberty mo. And therefore, that is considered as delaying release. Diba? So, under Article 3, Section 1, hindi ka pwede ma-deprive ng iyong liberty kung walang due process. Okay? Now, then tumutunog. Another example is under Section 3. 6, Article 3 ng 1987 Constitution. Yung liberty of abode and of changing the same within the limits prescribed by law shall not be impaired. Okay? Ibig sabihin, karapatan mo na tumira kung saan mo gustong tumira. Okay? Subject sa limitations na prescribed ng batas, of course. And hindi ka pwedeng basta-basta paalisin sa tinitirhan mo. Okay? Now, kapag ginawa yun ng public officer, pinaalis ka ng walang valid reasons, pinaalis ka sa bahay mo, then that may be considered as expulsion. Okay? Under Section 2, Article 3, yung right mo against unreasonable searches and seizure, okay, shall be inviolable. Okay? So, Hindi pwedeng basta-basta pasukin yung bahay mo ng mga public officers. Hindi pwedeng basta-basta mag-conduct ng search kung wala naman silang search warrant. Okay? Bawal nilang i-execute yung search warrant nila kung walang witnesses. Okay? So kapag na-violate yung mga yan, okay, pumasok sila sa bahay mo ng walang pahintulot, walang search warrant, nag-conduct sila ng search ng walang warrant, okay? Nag-conduct sila ng search ng walang witnesses, then that may be considered as violation of domicile. Okay? Section 4 naman, Article 3, okay? Tungkol sa freedom of speech or of expression. Okay? Yung sinasabi niya, no law shall be passed abridging the freedom of speech, of expression, or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assembly and petition the government for redress of grievances. Okay, so karapatan nyo na mag-conduct ng mga meeting, okay, na magsama-sama, mag-assemble kayo at mag-rally kayo, kumbaga, okay, peacefully, of course. Okay, now kapag pinigilan kayo na gawin yung mga yan, yung mga pagtitipon-tipon na yan, yung mga legal na pagtitipon-tipon, that may be considered as prohibition, interruption, or dissolution ng peaceful meetings. Okay? Another thing is provided sa Section 5, Article 3, yung freedom of religion mo, yung freedom to exercise your one's belief. Okay? So, kapag na-violate yung right na yan, at public officer yung nag-violate, it may be considered a crime against religious worship, either interruption ng religious worship o kaya naman offending religious feelings. Okay? So, kung mapapansin nyo, lahat ng binanggit ko is sinasabi ko na public officers yung nakakommit or yung offender. Because, again, crimes to against the fundamental law of the state, specifically the Bill of Rights. Okay? Alam naman natin sa human rights natin na ang Bill of Rights can only be violated by a public officer, by the government specifically. Okay? Because yung Bill of Rights, ginawa yan for the protection against the fundamental powers of the government. Okay? Para hindi abusuhan ng government yung police power nila, yung eminent domain nila, yung taxation nila, nilagay yung Bill of Rights sa Constitution. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ang Bill of Rights, protection against the government. And therefore, government yung nakakapag-violate sa kanya. Specifically, mga public officers. Okay? So, tatandaan sa mga crimes under this title, ang general rule natin, okay? Ang general rule is ang mga offenders under this title are public officers or employees. Okay? However, take note, tong public officers and employees na to, discuss natin kung hindi naman porket empleyado ng government, let's say, cashier ka ng BIR, pwede mo ma-violate to. The answer is no. Okay? May classification pa yung mga public officers, which we will discuss later. Basta tandaan, ang general rule, lahat ng crimes under this title is committed by a public officer. Okay? Kung private person yan, ibang crime yan. Hindi yan magfo-fall under Title 2. Okay? Now, every general rule has an exemption. Okay? So, anong exemption? Kailan mababiolate ng private person itong mga crimes under Title 2? Una, kapag under Article 133, yung offending religious feelings. Kasi yung offender doon may be any person. Okay? That's one exemption. And pangalawa, kapag yung private person nag-conspire. Okay? So, under conspiracy. Nag-conspire siya with a public officer or nag-act siya as an accomplice or accessory sa commission ng crimes under this title. Okay? So, doon lang nagiging liable si private person under this title. Okay? Again, general rule, public officer lang pwede makakommit as an exemption sa Article 133, offending religious feelings, and kapag si private person ay accessory siya accomplish siya o kaya naman nakipag-conspiracy siya sa public officer. Okay? Next. So, una sa mga crimes na to. Okay? Of course, binanggit na natin kanina, arbitrary detention, may tatlong klase yan. Article 124, 125, 126. Yung 124 is the arbitrary detention by detaining a person without legal ground. Yung pangalawa is the delay in the delivery of the detained person to the proper judicial authorities and delaying release. Those are the three classes of arbitrary detention. So, unahin natin yung una, arbitrary detention by detaining a person without legal ground. Okay? So, well, basahin muna natin yung provision. Okay? So, any public officer or employee without legal grounds detain a person shall suffer penalty of arresto mayor, yada yada yada, if the detention has not exceeded 3 days. The penalty of prison correctional, yada yada, if more than 3 but not more than 15 days. The penalty of prison mayor, yada yada, if for more than 15 days but not more than 6 months. And reclusion temporal if lumampas ng 6 months. Okay? So, yung mga periods na makikita natin dito sa article na to only determines the penalty. But take note, walang minimum duration required. Okay? Sabi dito, any public officer or employee who without legal grounds detains a person. So, as long as dinetain mo yung person nang walang legal ground, okay, liable ka na for arbitrary detention under Article 124. Okay, so si public officer dinetain walang legal ground, 124 na yan. Okay? Kahit pa sabihin natin na 1 oras lang yan, 2 oras lang yan, because walang minimum. Yung mga periods dito only determines the penalty, kung gaano kataas yung penalty. Okay? To the commission of a crime or violent insanity or any other ailment requiring the compulsory confinement of the patient in a hospital shall be considered legal grounds for detention of any person. Okay? So, that is the article. So, himay-himayin natin yung article na yan. Okay? So, upon reading of this provision, we can determine that there are 3 elements para makomit po itong crime nito. Una, the offender must be a public officer or employee. That's one. Okay? Gawin natin red yung element. Yeah. So, highlight natin. Okay, so this is one. Okay? So, public officer or employee. Siya yung offender. Okay? Pangalawa is he detains a person. Ibig sabihin, well, dinetain niya. And pangatlo is yung detention is without legal grounds. So, those are the 3 elements. Okay? Si offender, anong ginawa ni offender? Dinetain niya. And yung pagdetain niya is without legal grounds. Okay? Now, discuss natin yung elements. So, the offender sa arbitrary detention is a public officer or employee. However, hindi porket empleyado ka ng government is pwede ka na makabiolate nito. Yung public officers na tinutukoy dito to be liable for arbitrary detention must be vested with authority to detain. Okay? Meron siyang authority to detain. Hirap magsulat Gumagalaw. Okay? So, meron dapat siyang authority to detain. Or, meron siyang authority na mag-order ng detention of persons accused of a crime. Okay? So, si public authority and its agents. Sila yung mga pwede maging liable. Okay? For example, cashier ka ng BIR. Empleyado ka ng government, yes, but may power ka pa to detain a person. Okay? Wala naman. So, kung wala, hindi ka pwede maging liable for arbitrary detention. Considered ka as private individual. Okay? And take note, kapag private individual ang nag-commit nito, is hindi arbitrary detention ng crime mo, kundi illegal detention under Article 267 or 268. Okay? as the case may be. Okay? So, ulitin natin. Public officers liable for arbitrary detention, dapat vested sila with authority to detain or meron silang authority to order the detention of a person accused of a crime. Okay? If ibang public officers yan or employees na wala namang power to detain, then they are considered acting in their private capacity. Okay? So, kung private capacity nila o kaya private individual, it is illegal detention under Article 267 or under Article 268 as the case may be. Okay? Police, may power to detain yan. May power sila mang-arrest. Okay? NBI, PDEA, meron din. Si Mayor, merong power to order the detention. Okay? Si Barangay Captain, meron siyang power to order the detention. Presidente, of course. Okay, titingnan nyo, sino yung public officer na yan? May power ba siya to detain? Or mag-utos na i-detain? Okay? So, that's the first element. Second element, dapat dinetain nyo yung tao. Kailan natin masasabi na merong detention? Yung detention is defined as the actual confinement of a person in an enclosure or in any manner detaining or depriving him of his liberty. Okay? So, masasabi natin na ang person nakadetain siya when nilagay siya sa isang confinement or merong restraint sa person niya. Ibig sabihin, well, una, nakakulong ka, nakakonfine ka sa isang lugar, yes, that is detention. Pero, what if wala ka nga sa isang, hindi ka nga nakakonfine sa isang lugar, pero may restraint sa person mo, considered pa rin siya as detention. Okay? So, there is arbitrary detention even if yung victims, hindi sila nilagay sa isang enclosure. Let's say, malaya kang nakakaikot-ikot sa compound pero binabantayan ka. Bawal kang lumabas, bawal kang umalis. Okay? For example, sa kidnapping, yung prevailing jurisprudence natin sa kidnapping and illegal detention is that yung curtailment of the victim's liberty need not involve any physical restraint doon sa victim's person. Okay? If yung acts and actuations ng accused can produce such fear doon sa isip ng victim, sufficient to paralyze yung victim to the extent na si victim nako-compel siya to limit his own actions and movement dahil natatakot siya doon sa akusado, then the victim is, for all intent and purposes, detained against his will. Okay? Hindi ka nga nakakulong doon sa kulungan pero sabi ng polis, huwag kang lalabas ng presinto. Dito ka lang. Okay? That is detention na. Okay? So, anong effect kapag si public officer na nag-commit neto is wala namang authority to detain a person? So, if the offender does not have the authority to detain a person or to make such arrest, ang crime na na-commit niya, again, is illegal detention. Okay? Yung public officer who is acting outside the scope of his official duties, considered sila as private citizen. Okay? For example, naka-day off yung police. O kaya, naka-day off yung police. So, pag ganun, nag-act siya as a private citizen. Okay? Take note, in arbitrary detention, the offender is a public officer whose functions, it has something to do with the protection of life or property and maintenance ng peace and order. Okay? Isa siyang person in authority or agent ng person in authority. Okay? Thus, if the person, let's say, inaresto niya isang tao nang walang legal ground, tapos wala naman siyang power to do so, let's say, ano lang naman siya, isa lang siyang administrative officer sa isang government school. Okay? So, wala siyang authority to arrest or detain. o kaya clerk lang siya sa office ng isang government agency, then arbitrary is not the proper charge but illegal detention. Okay? Well, I will ask that. Okay? So, like, for example, si barangay chairman, pwede siya maging guilty of arbitrary detention. Okay? Bakit? Kasi siyempre trabaho niya to maintain peace and order doon sa barangay niya. Meron siyang authority to cause the arrest or detention of a person. Okay? Kasi may nanggugulo, may nagwawala. So, pwede niyang sabihan yung mga tanod niyo, sige, arrestuin natin yung nagwawala. Okay? Dalhin niyo sa barangay. Okay? So, may authority si chairman to do that. Ibig sabihin, pag si chairman, kung wala siyang legal ground, dinetain niya yung isang tao, that's arbitrary detention. Okay? Now, nasabi ko na kanina, but private individuals who conspired with public officer can also be charged with arbitrary detention. Okay? Now, based sa article na to, kailan natin masasabi na walang legal ground? Okay? Dito sa second paragraph. Yung second paragraph, ito yung mga legal grounds. Okay? Mga legal grounds to cause the detention of any person. Okay? So, una, the commission of a crime. So, kapag nag-commit ng crime, that is a legal ground for detention. So, kapag dinetain ka dahil nakapag-commit ka ng crime, then bawal kang magkaso ng arbitrary detention because there is a legal ground. Okay? Pangalawa, violent insanity. Okay? Not just a mere insanity, ha? Kailangan violent insanity. O kaya meron kang any other ailment requiring the compulsory confinement of the patient in a hospital. Let's say meron kang contagious na disease, yung nakakahawa, yung makita ka lang, mahahawa na kagad sa'yo. Okay? So, that is a legal ground para i-detain ka sa hospital, daling ka sa hospital. Okay? That's called detention pa rin yun kasi dinala ka sa hospital, bawal kang lumabas dun. Kinwarantine ka na ron. Detention pa rin yun. Okay? But that is a legal ground. Okay? Dahil meron kang ailment requiring compulsory confinement. Okay? Violent insanity. Kailangan kang dalhin sa isang mental hospital. Kasi nga, violente ka, nananakit ka na. That is a legal ground for detention. Okay? So, kapag yan yung mga reason kung bakit ka detain, then there is no arbitrary detention. Okay, next. Next. So, arrest without warrant is the usual cause of arbitrary detention. Okay? So, alam naman natin under Section 2, Article 3. Okay? Yung general rule natin that no person can be arrested without warrant of arrest. Okay? So, bawal kang arrestuhin without warrant of arrest. That's the general rule as provided sa Constitution. So, if there is no such warrant, okay, inaresto ka pa rin, it may constitute arbitrary detention. Okay? May, kasi pwede rin siyang unlawful arrest, di ba? Which we will discuss later on. Okay? So, inaresto ka without warrant, pwedeng maging arbitrary detention. Okay? However, the law also provides instances where arrest without warrant is lawful. Okay? So, a peace officer or a private person may, without warrant, arrest a person when in his presence, the person to be arrested has committed, is actually committing, or is attempting to commit an offense. Okay? Caught in the act nung nahuli. That is what we call in flagrante delicto. Okay? O kaya naman, when the offense has just been committed and meron siyang probable cause to believe, based on personal knowledge of facts and circumstances, that the person to be arrested has committed the offense na kakagawa lang. Okay? That is hot pursuit. Okay? O kaya naman, when yung taong aarestuhin is a prisoner na tumakas sa penal establishment or place where he is serving final judgment or temporarily confined, okay, habang pending yung case niya, o kaya naman tumakas siya while being transferred from one confinement to another, then pwede siyang arestuhin even without warrant. That is called arrest of an escapee. Okay? Arrest ng isang taong fugitive from justice. Okay? Now, para maging valid, let's say itong in flagrante delicto, para maging valid siya, okay? Yung person to be arrested, dapat nag-execute siya ng overt act indicating na nakakommit siya or nagko-commit siya or nag-attempt siya na mag-commit ng crime. Meron dapat overt act. Okay? Hindi pwedeng inisip niya lang. Okay? Meron dapat action siyang ginawa na nagsasabing may ginawa siyang crime, o may ginagawa siyang crime, or may gagawin siyang crime. Okay? Example, nakita mo na, tinutukan na ng baril, babarilin na, that's an overt act. Okay? So, pwede na siyang arrestuhin. Okay? Now, yung overt act na yan, para maging valid arrest, is dapat ginawa yan within the presence ng arresting officer. Okay? So, let's say, nung dumating ka sa crime scene, may nagsabi lang sa'yo, siya po yung bumaril. Will that be in flagrante delicto? The answer is no, kasi hindi naman nangyari sa presence mo or within the view. Okay? Now, pag sinabi naman natin hot pursuit, para maging valid, kailangan merong personal knowledge. Okay? Para maging valid to. The arresting officer's determination ng probable cause is based sa personal knowledge ng facts and circumstances that the person na gusto niyang arestuhin has committed the crime. Okay? So, sa hot pursuit, dapat meron munang crime actually have been committed first. Okay? So, yun ang requirements. The crime should have just been committed and arresting officers exercise ng discretion nila is limited by the standard of probable cause to be determined doon sa facts na nakita niya within his personal knowledge. For example, may nakita siyang duguan. May nakita siyang tao na may hawak na kutsilyo. May duguan din. Okay? So, nakita niya ba na sinaksak? The answer is no. So, hindi in flagrante delicto. However, based dun sa nakita niya, may duguan. Ikaw lang yung may hawak ng kutsilyo. So, merong probable cause. By probably, ikaw yung gumawa ng krimen. Okay? Kasi ikaw yung may hawak ng kutsilyo. Hindi siya sigurado, ha? Kasi probable cause lang naman, eh. So, merong probability na baka ikaw yung gumawa ng krimen. So, kapag ganun, may probable cause na. Okay? So, pwede na siyang arrestuhin under hot pursuit. Take note, hot pursuit does not require the arresting officer to personally witness the commission of the offense. Okay? However, iti-take note natin na there must be a large measure of immediacy between the time the offense was committed and the time of the arrest. For example, may nakita ka nakahandusay. Tapos, in-examine mo, may nakita kang fingerprint. Pinadala mo sa lab yung fingerprint. Ang bilis. Ilang minuto lang, bumalik na kagad sa'yo. Si AAA daw yung pumatay. Pwede mo bang aresto yung si AAA? The answer is no. Kasi nag-result na siya sa investigation. Okay? So, that merong immediacy between the time of the offense was committed and the time of the arrest. For example, kung umabot na yan ng 5 araw, hindi na pwede. Okay? Although may Supreme Court decision na nagsasabi 1 day daw yung maximum, but it all depends doon sa immediacy. Doon sa una kong example, yung fingerprint. Let's say na imbestigahan mo yun within 2 hours. So, hindi pa rin pwedeng hot pursuit yun. Kasi nag-result na siya sa investigation. Wala na yung immediacy. Okay? Kasi may time ka na nga mag-investigate eh. Okay? And of course, sa arrest of an escapee, dapat prisoner. Ibig sabihin, prisoner is may final judgment na or siya ay detainee. Ibig sabihin, pending trial. Okay? So, kapag tumakas yung mga yan, pwede silang arestuhin. Okay, next is the difference between arbitrary detention and illegal detention. Bukod dun sa sinabi ko kanina na offender, sa arbitrary detention is a public officer. Sa illegal detention is a private person. However, sa arbitrary detention, hindi lahat ng public officer. Kailangan si public officer, meron siyang duty, okay? Duty with carries with it yung authority to detain a person. Okay? Sa illegal detention, the offender, kahit na sabihin natin public officer siya, eh wala naman sa function niya yung power of arrest, then illegal detention yan. Okay? Next is arbitrary detention versus unlawful arrest. So, nabanggit ko na kanina, merong unlawful arrest. Dito, the offender sa arbitrary detention is public officer possessed with authority to make arrests. Okay? Gulo ng pagkakasulat. Okay? So, si offender is a public officer possessed with authority to make arrests. Okay? Sa unlawful arrest, the offender may be any person. Okay? Ang purpose ng detainment sa arbitrary detention is to deny him of liberty. Okay? Kaya gusto mo lang siya ikulong para hindi siya makalaya, para hindi siya makaalis. Okay? Yun yung purpose mo. Sa unlawful arrest, the accused, ang purpose mo kung bakit mo siya inaresto is to accuse the offended party of a crime na hindi niya naman ginagawa. Okay? Magpa-file mo siya ng kaso just to incriminate him. That's unlawful arrest. Okay? Pero kung inaresto mo siya kasi gusto mo lang siya i-detain, that's arbitrary detention. Okay? Take note, walang arbitrary detention kung merong valid arrest. Let's say, for example, pasok sa inflagrante delicto, pasok sa hot pursuit, pasok sa arrest of an escapee, o kaya may warrant naman. Okay? So, hindi ka pwede magkaso ng arbitrary detention pag gano'n kasi valid yung arrest. Okay? So, titingnan mo sa arbitrary detention, tama ba yung arrest? Valid ba? Okay? Take note then that no reasonable ground if officer only wants to know the commission of the crime. Okay? Let's say, inaresto ka dahil lang gusto kang interviewin o kaya gusto nilang malaman ano nangyari. Hindi reasonable ground yun. Okay? Also, take note that the crime of arbitrary detention can be committed through imprudence. Okay? Pwede siya makomit dahil sa lack of foresight or lack of skill. For example, bagong laya yung tao. Tapos nagulat ka, ba't nasa labas na yan? Hindi mo alam na laya na pala siya. Okay? Hindi mo lang chinek. Inaresto mo si gago. Kinulong mo ulit. Then that's arbitrary detention. Okay? Through reckless imprudence, of course. Kasi wala ka namang intention talaga na i-detain siya. Akala mo lang tumakas siya o ano. Okay? Hindi mo dinouble check na laya na pala talaga siya. So that's arbitrary detention. Okay, next is Article 125. Okay? Delay in the delivery of detained persons to proper judicial authority. Okay? So, syempre, reading muna ng provision. The penalties provided sa Article 124 shall be imposed upon public officer or employee who shall detain any person for some legal ground, yan yung pinagkaiba nila, and shall fail to deliver such person to the proper judicial authorities within the period of 12 hours para sa light felonies or their equivalent, 18 hours for correctional penalties or their equivalent, 36 para sa mga afflictive or capital penalties or their equivalent. Okay? In every case, the person detained shall be informed of the cause of his detention and shall be allowed upon his request to communicate and confer at any time with his attorney or counsel. Okay? So, what is the situation contemplated dito sa article na to? So, Article 125 contemplates a situation where arrest was made without warrant. Okay? Walang warrant. Pero merong legal ground. Nakalagay naman dyan eh. For some legal ground. So, merong legal ground for the arrest. Okay? It does not apply when the arrest is on the strength of a warrant of arrest because kapag may warrant, there is no period required for the delivery of a detained person sa proper judicial authorities except that it must be made within a reasonable time. Okay? So, nangyayari to, again, sa warrantless arrest. Warrantless. Mahirap magsulat talaga dito. Okay? Sa warrantless arrest, pero may legal ground. Okay? Ibig sabihin, pasok siya dun sa inflagrante delicto. Pasok siya sa hot pursuit na diniscuss natin. Okay? Pasok siya sa arrest of an escapee. Okay? So, merong legal ground. Inaresto siya with legal ground. Kaso, problema, hindi nadala sa proper judicial authority within a reasonable time. Within the time provided dito. Okay? 12 hours, 18 hours, 36 hours. So, the person arrested can be detained indefinitely until his case is decided by the court kapag may warrant. Okay? Pero pag dito, may oras. Okay? So, based on this provision, ano yung elements niya? Okay? So, again, the offender is a public officer or employee. Ganun pa rin. Dapat meron siyang authority to cause the arrest, okay, of the person. Okay? Then, dinetain siya for some legal ground. Ibig sabihin, either nakakommit siya ng crime, yung binanggit natin kanina, may violent insanity, o kaya naman meron siyang some other ailment that requires hospital admission. So, merong legal ground. Okay? So, sa 124, walang legal ground. Inalesto ka, walang legal ground. Dito, merong legal ground. Pero, hindi kanya nakasuhan or hindi kanya nadala sa korte sa proper judicial authorities. Okay? Within the period of 12 hours kapag light felonies, 18 hours kapag correctional penalties, and 36 hours kapag afflictive penalties. Okay? So, yung oras nakadepende sa ano yung crime na na-commit mo or ano yung crime na dahilan kung bakit ka inaresto. Okay? Ang violation nitong 125 is hindi yung pag-aresto sa'yo, but yung failure mo. Okay? Yung failure mo to deliver such person to the proper judicial authorities. Okay? Now, himay-himayin pa rin natin to. May nakalagay dito on the order equivalent. Light penalties or equivalent. Correctional or equivalent. Afflictive or equivalent. Ibig sabihin, applicable to kahit sa violation ng special laws. Okay? Ano ba, let's say, equivalent ng capital punishment. Let's say, life imprisonment. Ba? So, inaresto ka sa isang crime punishable for life imprisonment. So, meron silang 36 hours para daling ka sa proper judicial authority. Okay? So, kailangang i-deliver. So, ano ibig sabihin ng deliver dito? Okay? It refers to the filing of correct information or complaint with the proper judicial authorities. Hindi siya physical delivery or hindi porket nadala mo na sa korte tapos na. Hindi. Kailangan merong filing ng correct information. Okay? Common misconception dito, pag na-inquest na daw, okay na. Pag nadala na daw sa inquest prosecutor, okay na daw. Hindi. Okay? Maandar pa rin yung oras nyo habang nag-i-inquest si inquest prosecutor. Okay? Tapos, kailangan ma-file nyo yung information sa korte, hindi sa prosecutor, para matapos yung oras dito. Eh di kung hindi nyo na-file, di liable kayo parehas na fiscal, di ba? Yun. So, take note of that kasi maraming nalilito dyan. So, warrantless arrest, dadalhin ka sa inquest prosecutor for inquest proceeding. Tapos meron silang 12, 18, 36 hours para gawin yun at makapag-file ng proper information sa korte. Okay? Of course, syempre non-office days and hours, hindi siya included sa computation ng legal period prescribed by law for the filing of the complaint or information sa courts. Let's say, for example, ay Friday, alas 5 ka ng Sabado inaresto. Okay? So, syempre, linggo kinabukasan, walang korte, hindi umaandar yung oras mo nun. Okay? So, aandar lang yung 12, 18, 36 mo sa office hours. I take note din that violation nitong Article 125 does not affect the legality of confinement under process issued by the court. Okay? You should also take note that the illegal detention is not cured by the filing of the information in court. Okay? For example, lumampas na kayo ng 18 hours. Okay? So, meron ng delay in delivery. Paano kung after 1 hour is nakapag-file naman na? Pwede bang patawarin na lang? The answer is no. Okay? Hindi siya na-cure by the filing of the information. Okay? Now, si fiscal na nag-conduct ng inquest, hindi siya liable generally unless siya yung nag-order ng detention. Okay? Now, if the accused was illegally detained kasi inarrest na siya without preliminary examination, what should have been done was to set aside the warrant of arrest and order the discharge of the accused, but without enjoining the municipal judge from conducting a preliminary examination and afterwards, properly na mag-issue ng warrant. Okay? So, ano pa mahalaga rito sa provision na to? Proper judicial authorities. Nalagay. Sino yan? It refers to the courts of justice or judges ng mga courts vested with judicial power na mag-order ng temporary detention or confinement of a person charged with having committed a public offense. Okay? Kaya mo kailangan i-file na information kasi si judge yung may power na mag-order nung, sige, kulong nyo na yan. Okay? Tuloy na yung kulong niyan. Now, the duty of the detaining officer, nako-comply lang yan upon filing of the complaint or the information with the judicial authority. Okay? Now, anong gagawin kapag patapos na yung oras tapos absent si judge? Okay? The detained person should be released when the judge is not available. Okay? Okay? Now, sa pagbibilang ng oras, huwag bara-bara. Siyempre, may mga circumstances na dapat i-consider in determining the liability ng officer detaining a person beyond the legal period. For example, yung means of communication. Okay? Yung oras ng arrest. Kasi alas 6 na yan eh. Ba't isasama mo pa sa oras? Okay? Or other circumstances such as yung time of surrender and material possibility of the fiscal to make the investigation and file in time the necessary information. Let's say, hindi sapat yung oras na fiscal eh. Okay? Ginawa niya naman na lahat eh, pero hindi talaga kaya na matapos. Okay? Now, ano yung rights ng mga person detained? Next yan. Nandito yan eh. Sa second paragraph. So, shall be informed of the cause of his detention. Nakalagay naman dyan. Okay? Shall be informed of the cause of his detention. Okay? And he shall be allowed upon his request na mag-communicate and confer at any time with his attorney or counsel. Okay? So, yung public officer or employee, liable siya for preventing the exercise ng right to of attorney to visit and confer with persons arrested. Ang penalty niyan, aresto mayor kapag pinigilan ni public officer na mag-usap kayo ng abogado mo. Okay? So now, let's differentiate delay and delivery 125 versus 124. Although, sabi na natin yan kanina. But, sa delay and delivery, yung detention mo is with legal ground. Okay? So, meron legal noong una. Nagiging illegal siya, nagiging arbitrary siya kasi lumampas ka dun sa period na provide ng batas, yung 12, 18, 36. Okay? Umabot na ng ganong oras without the person detained having been charged before the proper judicial authority. Arbitrary detention under 124 naman is illegal talaga yung detention at the very inception. Una pa lang, illegal na talaga. Bakit? Kasi wala namang commission of crime, wala namang violent insanity, wala namang ailment na nagre-require sa hospital admission. Okay? So, walang lawful cause for such arrest. So, that's the difference. Now, take note na yung detention dito, okay? Yung dito sa 125, hindi yan nag-a-apply sa mga persons detained under RA 11479, which is yung mga person suspected na terrorist. Okay? So, may mga oras na prescribed doon, which is umabot pa ng 10 days, tapos pwede pa ma-extend yun. Okay? So, hindi applicable ang 125 kapag suspected terrorist ka under the Human Security Act. Okay? Now, under 7438, okay, yung rights ng person arrested, detained, or under custodial investigation. So, itong mga to, yan yung mga rights mo under custodial investigation. And custodial investigation involves any questioning initiated by law enforcement authorities after a person is taken into custody or otherwise na deprive siya ng freedom of action niya in any significant manner. Okay? Yung rules on custodial investigation, nagsisimula yan na mag-operate as soon as the investigation ceases to be a general inquiry into an unsolved crime and begins to focus a particular suspect. Okay? Si suspect taken into custody and the police carries out yung process of interrogation that tends itself to eliciting incriminating statements that the rule begins to operate. Okay? So, yung custodial investigation, kasama rin dyan yung practice ng pag-inimbitahan ka lang sa presinto. Kasama yan. Okay? So, yung invitation to a person who is investigated in a connection with an offense he is suspected to have committed, considered as arrest na yan. Okay? Without prejudice to the liability of the inviting officer for any violation of the law. Okay? So, ulitin natin, mga rights mo, right to counsel, okay? Right to counsel, right to your right to be informed of your right to remain silent, and maalaw yung visits. Okay? Now, yung mga persons arrested without warrant, pwede nilang i-waive yung 12, 18, 36 na yan. Pwede silang mag-request ng preliminary investigation instead of inquest proceeding. Pwede yan. Okay? Sasabihin nila, nagre-request sila ng preliminary investigation. However, bago sila makapag-request ng ganun, kailangan i-waive muna nila yung Article 125 na hindi nila kakasuhan yung yung prosecutor o kaya yung mga humuli sa kanyang pulis kahit lumampas sa oras. Kailangan i-waive niya yun bago siya mag-request ng preliminary investigation. Okay? So, under the rules of court, he should waive in writing yung rights niya under Article 125. Okay? Yung waiver na yan must be under oath and with the assistance of counsel. Okay? So, any waiver ng isang taong arrested or detained under provisions of 125 or under custodial investigation shall be in writing and signed by such person in the presence ng kanyang counsel. Pag hindi nasunod yan, yung waiver is void. Walang effect. Okay? Okay, next is Article 126, delaying release. Okay? So, provision muna ulit, the penalties provided for sa Article 124 shall be imposed any public officer who delays for a period of time specified therein the performance of any judicial or executive order for the release of a prisoner or detention prisoner or unduly delays the service of the notice of such order to said prisoner or the proceedings upon any petition for the liberation of such person. Okay? So, based on this provision, makikita natin meron tatlong acts na punishable. Okay? Una is by delaying the performance. Okay? Dinelay niya yung performance. Yan yung una. Yung performance ng isang order for the release of the prisoner. Meron nang binigay si judge na pakawalan na yung prisoner kasi tapos na. Laya na. Pero hindi mo pinerform yung order na yun. Dinelay mo. That's one act. Okay? O kaya by unduly delaying the service of the notice of such order to prisoner, hindi mo kagad binigay yung order, hindi mo kagad sinerve yung order na yun doon sa prisoner. O kaya naman, dinelay mo yung proceedings, okay, upon any petition for the liberation of such person. Okay? So, that's delaying release. So, based on that, may mga elements ulit. Okay, so the offender is a public officer or employee. Okay? That's the first element. Pangalawa, meron ng judicial or executive order for the release of a prisoner or detention prisoner, or meron proceeding upon a petition for the liberation of such person. Then, wala naman siyang good reason. Right? Wala siyang valid reason. Dinelay niya yung service of such notice of order to the prisoner, o kaya naman dinelay niya yung performance ng judicial or executive order for the release of the prisoner, or dinelay niya yung proceedings upon which a petition for release of such person. Okay? So those are the three elements. Okay? So, kailangan without good cause for delays. Okay? So, kung mayroon naman, then wala problema. Now, dito sa crime na to, kadalasan ang mga most likely na nakaka-violate na to is mga warden o kaya mga jailers. Okay? Kasi siyempre sila yung nag-serve nung order for release. Okay? Next is Article 127, expulsion. Okay? So, reading the penalty of prison correctional shall be imposed upon any public officer or employee who, without being thereunto authorized by law, shall expel any person from the Philippine Islands or shall compel such person to change his residence. Okay? So, meron ulit dalawang acts punishable na nakalagay dito. Okay? Either in-expel niya yung tao from the Philippine Islands or kinompel niya to change the residence. Pinalayas niya ng Pilipinas or pinalipat niya ng tirahan. Okay? Tapos wala naman siyang authority. Okay? So, based on that, ano yung elements? So, the offender is a public officer or employee given. Title 2 eh. Okay? Public officer or employee. That's the first element. Second element, ang ginawa niya is he expels any person from the Philippine Islands or kinumpel niya to change the residence. Either of the two yung ginawa niya. Tapos, hindi siya authorized by law to do so. Okay? So, sir, may mga taong authorized ba? Yes. For example, si court. Binigyan ka ng penalty ng destyero. Pumasok yung bahay mo doon sa sakop ng destyero. O di, effectively, Parang kang pinalipat ng tirahan. Pwede mo ba kasuhan si judge ng expulsion? The answer is no. Okay? Because authorized siya na gawin yun. Si President, pwede niyang i-deport yung mga alien. Pwede niyang paalisin ng Pilipinas with valid reason. Okay? Pwede niyang paalisin ng Pilipinas. Pwede mo bang kasuhan ng expulsion si President? The answer is no. Okay? So, only the court by final judgment can order a person to change his residence. Okay? Illustrated to sa mga case ng ejection proceedings. For example, pinapaalis ka na sa bahay mo kasi hindi mo nabayaran. So, pag ang nagpaalis sa'yo, police, yung nagpaalis sa bahay mo kasi hindi mo nabayaran, pwede mong kasuhan ng expulsion yun. Kung wala naman siyang order from the court. Pero kung may order from the judge na pinapaalis ka na dun sa lugar, sa bahay mo, ine-eject ka na, right? Then, walang expulsion dun. Pwede rin sa expropriation proceedings. By virtue of eminent domain, binili ng government yung bahay mo. Pwede ka bang basta-basta paalisin, let's say, ng mga police? The answer is no. Kailangan nilang court order. Okay? So, o kaya, yun nga, destiero. Okay? So, hindi siya nag-a-apply sa cases of ejectment, expropriation, or when the penalty imposed is destiero. Okay? Okay, so, let's say mayor ng city of, well, kung ano mang city ang gusto nyo, wanted to make the city free from prostitution. So, ginawa niya lahat ng prostitute, pinatransfer niya sa Davao without observing due process. Sabi niya, ayoko may prostitute dito sa syudad ko. Okay? So, pinatransfer niya sa Davao kahit na wala namang charge na crimes doon sa mga prostitute na yun. Okay? So, ano yung crime na nakomit? The crime committed was expulsion. Okay? So, expulsion, nakocommit din yan if aliens, dineport mo siya without an order from the President or Commissioner ng Immigration and Deportation after due proceedings. Okay? Take note, pursuant sa revised administrative code natin, only the President of the Philippines is vested with authority na i-deport yung mga aliens. Okay? Yung crime of expulsion, nakocommit din yan. Let's say yung Pilipino, pumunta sa ibang bansa. Tapos, hindi na pinabalik ng Pilipinas by a public officer. Nire-refuse yung re-entry. Because sabi, kung ano man yung reason ng public officer, basta hindi valid. Okay? So, expulsion pa rin yun because he is considered a victim of being forced to change his residence. Okay? Okay, next. Article 128, violation of domicile. So, provision, the penalty of prison correctional in its minimum period shall impose upon any public officer or employee who, not being authorized by a judicial order, shall enter any dwelling against the will of the owner thereof. Such papers or other effects found therein without the previous consent of such owner, or having surreptitiously entered said dwelling and being required to leave the premises, shall refuse to do so. If the offense is committed in night time or if any papers or effects not constituting evidence of a crime be not returned immediately after search made by the offender, the penalty shall be prison correctional in its medium and maximum periods. Okay? So, based on the reading of the provisions, we can determine that there are 3 punishable acts. Okay? May 3 na iba't ibang acts na pwede makonsider as violation of domicile. Okay? Una is by entering the dwelling. Okay? Against the will of the owner. Entering the dwelling against the will of the owner. Or by searching papers. Ayaw ma-highlight. Bakit? By searching papers or other effects found therein without previous consent of such owner. Okay? Pumasok ka sa bahay nang walang pahintulot. Kaya nagkanda ka ng search nang walang pahintulot. O kaya naman, let's say yes, pinayagan ka pumasok pero by refusing to leave the premises, kasama pa rin yan. Okay? Pag pinaalis ka na, umalis ka na. Okay? So, by refusing to leave the premises after having surreptitiously entered said dwelling and after having been required to leave the same. Okay? Kaya paalis ka na, hindi ka pa rin umalis o the violation of domicile na yan. Okay? Now, ano yung mga common elements dito? Is, of course, yung offender is a public employee, public officer or employee. Yung pa rin. Kasi title to nga eh. Right. Tapos, hindi naman siya authorized by a judicial order. Walang utos sa kanya yung judge or walang binigay na order yung judge. Walang warrant to enter the dwelling or to make search therein for papers and other effects. Yun lang yun. Public officer ka, wala ka namang warrant, pumasok ka sa bahay. Nag-conduct ka ng search. Okay? Hindi ka umalis nung pinapaalis ka. Wala ka namang warrant. So, that is violation of domicile. Okay? So, again, elements, public officer or employee. Hindi sila authorized by a judicial order na pumasok or to make search for papers and for other effects. And they either pumasok sila sa dwelling against the will of the owner, nag-search sila ng papers or other effects found therein without the previous consent of such owner, and refuses to leave the premises after having surreptitiously entered said dwelling and after having been required to leave the same. Okay? Now, it would be sufficient if yung inhabitant is in the dwelling. Kahit na sabihin natin hindi naman siya may-ari. Okay? Basta si inhabitant nandun siya sa bahay. Now, take note, public officer or employee. Now, anong mangyayari sir pag private person? Okay? So, kung sa mga binanggit natin sa arbitrary detention kanina, magiging illegal detention. Ang equivalent naman ng violation of domicile is trespass to dwelling. Ayan, sulat natin. Kapag private individual. O kaya naman, public officer na wala namang authority na mag-conduct ng search. Okay? Public officer in his private capacity. Okay? Trespass to dwelling yan. Under Article 280. Okay? Now, a public officer or employee is authorized by judicial order kapag masasabi natin na, di ba dito, authorized by judicial order. Masasabi natin na authorized siya kapag may dala siyang warrant. Okay? Search warrant duly issued by the court. So, to constitute a violation of domicile, yung entrance ng public officer or employee dapat against the will of the owner of the dwelling, which presupposes opposition or prohibition by said owner. Sinabi niya, oh, huwag ka pumasok, oh, bawal kayo pumasok, etc., whether expressed or implied. Okay? If yung pagpasok ng public officer or employee is only without the consent of the owner of the dwelling, the crime is not committed. Okay? Neither is the crime committed if the owner, pumayag naman siya na pumasok. Okay? Now, hindi to applicable sa right ng officer to break into the building or to enclosure when affecting arrest. Okay? So, later on, di-discuss natin isa sa mga powers ng officer na nag-execute ng search warrant is to break into the building. Nagpakilala siya, hindi mo siya pinagbuksan, o di sipain niya yung pinto mo para makapasok siya. Okay? Walang violation of domicile doon. Now, a peace officer na wala namang search warrant cannot lawfully enter the dwelling against the will of the owner. Kahit na alam niya na merong illegal na mga items doon sa bahay na yan. Okay? Kahit pa sabihin ng sure na sure siya may marijuana dyan o may drugs dyan sa loob ng bahay. Hindi pa rin siya pwedeng pumasok kung wala namang pahintulot ng may-ari or wala naman siyang warrant. Okay? So, yung right to be secure from unreasonable searches may, like every right, pwedeng ma-waive yan, and such waiver may be made either expressly or impliedly. Okay? Now, hindi applicable itong Article 128 na to kapag si public officer nag-search siya ng person outside his dwelling. Kung nasa labas naman ng bahay, walang warrant. So, hindi violation of domicile yun. Okay? Pwedeng other offense. Okay? But not violation of domicile. Okay? Because yung papers and other effects na binanggit dito sa Article 128, kailangan found siya sa dwelling. Okay? Kailangan dun siya makikita sa loob mismo ng dwelling tinitirhan. Okay? It is punishable when the offender surreptitiously entered the dwelling, even if yung entrance is only without the consent of the owner. But in this case, what constitutes the crime is yung refusal ng offender na umalis sa premises when required to do so. Okay? Hindi yung pagpasok niya sa dwelling. Now, under the susunod na paragraph, may mga circumstances which qualifies the offense. Pinapataas yung penalty. Okay? If yung offense is committed during nighttime, or if papers or effects not constituting the evidence of a crime are not returned immediately matapos mag-search. Okay? Yung mga hindi naman subject ng crime na bagay, hindi binalik. Okay? So, mako-qualify yan. Yung offense. Tataas ang penalty. Okay, next is Article 129. Search warrant maliciously obtained and abused in the service of those legally obtained. Okay? So, by title pa lang, tungkol saan tong crime na to. Mali yung pagkakakuha mo sa search warrant. Illegal yung pagkakakuha mo sa search warrant. O kaya naman, meron kang legal na search warrant, kaso inabuso mo yung otoridad mo sa pag-e-exercise nung warrant na yun. Okay? That's Article 129. So, reading, in addition to the liability attaching to the offender for the commission of any offense, any public officer or employee who shall procure a search warrant without just cause or having legally procured the same shall exceed his authority to use unnecessary severity in executing the same. Okay? So, merong dalawang punishable acts. Malinaw na nakalagay dyan. Una is by procuring a search warrant without just cause. Okay? Let's say, kumuha ka sa judge ng search warrant, tapos pineke mo yung mga supporting documents mo para mapalabas na mayroong probable cause. So, nag-issue ngayon ng warrant. Okay? So, illegal yung pagkakakuha mo ng search warrant. O kaya naman, nakakuha ka nga legal. Okay? However, you exceeded your authority by using unnecessary severity in executing a search warrant legally procured. Let's say, kumuha ka ng mga items na wala naman dun sa search warrant. Okay? O kaya naman is nakalagay sa search warrant, itong kwarto lang na to yung kailangan mong i-search. Nag-search ka pa dun sa kabila. Okay? So, merong abuse of authority. So, dalawa na naman yung acts dito. Magkahiwalay yan. Okay? So, nag-procure ka ng search warrant o kaya walang valid reason o kaya naman is legal yung reason pero nag-exceed ka sa authority mo. Okay? Now, unahin natin yung search warrant without just cause. So, anong elements niyan? So, the offender is a public officer or employee. Okay, laging yan yung unang element pagdating sa Title 2 again. So, public officer or employee. Anong ginawa niya? Nag-procure siya ng search warrant. That's the second element. Okay? Tapos, walang just cause. Walang valid reason. Walang probable cause. Okay? So, those are the three elements. Public officer, nag-procure ng search warrant, walang just cause. Violation ng Article 129 yan. Okay? How about the second act? Yung exceeding the authority. Anong elements niyan? Una, public officer or employee ang offender. Of course, yan yung laging una. Okay? Now, nag-procure siya ng search warrant. Okay? Parehas dun sa unang act. However, nag-exceed siya sa authority niya. Okay? May legal basis siya para sa search warrant, but he exceeding his authority or uses unnecessary severity sa pag-execute ng warrant na yan. Okay? Now, ano ba ang search warrant? Para malinawan tayo. So, ang search warrant, I think dito yan. Yan. A search warrant is an order in writing issued in the name of the people of the Philippines, signed by a judge, and directed to a peace officer commanding him to search for personal property described therein and bring it to court. Ay order to ng isang korte. Okay? Signed ng korte in the name of the people of the Philippines. Okay? Na inuutusan itong peace officer na to na magkanda ka ng search. Tapos yung mga personal property na nakalagay dyan sa search warrant, dalhin mo sa korte. Yun yung order na yun. So para maging valid ang search warrant, tandaan, kailangan is issued yan ng judge. Okay? Issued dapat yan ng judge. Hindi ng prosecutor, hindi ng police, hindi ng kung sino pa man. Si judge. Okay? Si judge dapat yung makikita mo nakapirma dyan. Hindi yung branch clerk of court, hindi yung fiscal, hindi presidente, hindi congressman, kundi si judge. Okay? Si judge doon sa trial court na may territorial jurisdiction doon sa lugar kung saan magkakandak ng search. Okay? Tapos, bago mag-issue si judge ng search warrant, kailangan is meron siyang gagawing personal examination. Doon sa application, let's say mag-a-apply ka for search warrant, ikaw police, kailangan may naka-attach doon ng mga supporting documents. Para nagsasabi na merong probable cause na mag-issue ka ng search warrant. Kasi probably yung hinahanap yung item nandun sa lugar na yon. Okay? So, yung mga documents na yan, i-examine ni Judge yan. Titignan niya kung meron ba talagang probable cause. Okay? Ibig sabihin ng probable cause is sa isip ng isang matinong tao, okay? Probably, yung mga hinahanap yung personal property, matatagpuan nyo dun sa lugar na yon. Probably. Okay? So, titignan ni Judge yan na kung may probable cause na, kailangan merong particularity. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Kung ano lang yung nakalagay sa search warrant, okay? Yun lang yung kukunin. Kung ano yung address na nakalagay sa search warrant, dun lang magsa-search. For example, Block 230, Lot 5. Yan yung nakalagay sa search warrant. Yan yung address. Pagpunta nyo ron, meron palang Block 230, Lot 5A, Lot 5B, Lot 5C. Ibig bang sabihin, lahat yun, pwede mong i-search. The answer is no. Kung Lot 5 lang yun nandun sa search warrant mo, bawal mong i-search yung 5A. Bawal mong i-search yung 5B. Bawal mong i-search yung 5C. Kailangan particular kung ano yung mismong nakalagay sa search warrant. Si peace officer, si police officer na nag-execute ng search warrant, wala siyang discretion sa kung paano niya i-execute yung search warrant. Kailangan sundin niya yung search warrant to the letter. That is the particular description. Okay? Kailangan din yung mga items na nakalagay doon sa search warrant is meron ding particularity. Okay? For example, pwede bang ilagay sa search warrant is book? Nakalagay, book. The answer is no. Bakit? Kasi napaka-general ng book. Anong klaseng book? Anong kulay niyan? Ano yung nilalaman niyan? Ano yung mga posibleng makita kapag binuksan yung libro na yan? Okay? Nakalagay, knife. Hindi pwede, masyadong general. Anong klaseng knife? Okay, kitchen knife ba? Hunting knife ba yan? Okay? Kailangan specific. Okay? So, hindi pwede ang general. Kailangan particular description. Doon sa mismong address, doon din sa mismong item na hahanapin. Okay? So, kapag hindi particular yung description sa search warrant, invalid yung search warrant na yan. Take note of that. Now, ang search warrant, valid yan for 10 days. 10 days from the date na na-issue siya. Okay? 10 araw lang. Thereafter, magiging void na siya. Subject to extension, yes. You will learn that sa criminal procedure. Okay? Now, again, reiterate ko lang kasi mahalaga to. Bago mag-issue ng search warrant, si judge, kailangan personally examine niya yung application. Okay? In the form of searching questions and answer, in writing and under oath, the complainant and the witnesses he may produce on facts personally known to them and attach to the record their sworn statements together with any affidavit submitted. Okay? Questionin yan, judge. Yung mga dokumento na inattach mo. Tatanungin ka bilang police officer na nag-a-apply ng search warrant tungkol doon sa veracity or sa authenticity ng mga sworn statements na binigay mo. Okay? Now, kapag hindi yan ginawa, okay, o kaya walang probable cause, then the search warrant is considered illegally obtained. Okay? For example, nagsinungaling ka kay judge. Sabi mo, judge, yung hinahanap natin bangkay nakalibing sa ganitong lugar. Okay? Tapos nag-provide ka ng mga peking medical, etc. etc. So napapaniwala mo si judge na andun talaga yung bangkay. Kailangan yung hukayin. So bigay siya ng search warrant. That's illegally obtained. Okay? Kasi wala ka namang probable cause eh. Okay? Now, anong mangyayari? Ano yung consequence doon sa evidence na nakuha using a search warrant that was issued without just cause? Let's say illegal yung search warrant. In-execute pa rin. So, ang ginawa ng police, pumasok sa bahay mo, pinakita sa yung search warrant na illegally obtained, okay, illegal na search warrant. Tapos, kinuha nila yung mga evidence na nandun sa bahay mo. So, when papers and effects are obtained during unreasonable searches and seizure, or under a search warrant issued without probable cause, o kaya naman mayroong violation sa privacy of communication and correspondence, yung mga papers and effects, yung mga evidence na nakuha, hindi siya admissible for any purpose in any proceeding. Kahit pa sabihin natin na sobrang lakas ng ebidensya na nakuha. Okay? Pero dahil illegal yung pagkakakuha, hindi siya pwedeng gamitan laban sa'yo. That is under your constitutional rights. Diba? Sa Bill of Rights nyo yan. I think it's Section 3, Paragraph 2. Okay? Any violation ng Section 2 or Section 3 renders the evidence inadmissible. Kahit pa sabihin natin na yan na mismo yung murder weapon, kahit mismo drugs yan, kahit pa sobrang lakas ng ebidensya na yun, hindi na yun pwedeng gamitin laban sa'yo kung illegal siyang nakuha. Okay? So, ano naman yung effect if, tulad ng example ko kanina, gumawa ng mga peking affidavit si police officer para mapaniwala si judge. Okay? Magkakaroon ng separate crime of perjury si police officer. In addition dito, sa Article 128, may additional crime pa siya of perjury. Kasi gumawa ka ng false affidavit eh. The liability of the offender sa 129 shall be in addition to his liability for the commission of any other offense. Okay? Now, of course, si officer na nag-execute ng search warrant, meron siya mga certain powers. Okay? Meron siya mga certain rights. Let's say, pumunta na si officer sa bahay nyo, kumatok, nagpakilala, sinabi niya, police officer siya, may search warrant siya, ayaw mo siyang papasukin. Okay? Now, if you refuse admittance to the place of directed search after giving notice doon sa purpose niya and authority, si officer pwede niyang i-break open any outer or inner door or window of a house para lang makapasok or any part of the house or anything therein. Okay? Para lang ma-execute niya yung warrant. Okay? So, pwede niyang sirain yung pinto mo para pumasok siya. Okay? Pero syempre, mangyayari lang yan pag, what do you call this? Dinenay mo yung entry niya. Hindi naman pagkadating, sinipa ka agad yung pinto mo. Hindi naman ganun. Kaya katok muna, papakilala siya, ano yung purpose niya, sino siya. Okay? No, kapag ayaw mo pa rin siyang papasukin, dun pa lang magkakasipaan ng pinto. Okay? Now, nakapasok na si officer, nakapasok na siya. Ang ginawa mo, nilock mo siya dun sa loob. Okay? So, meron din siyang right to liberate himself or any person lawfully aiding him kapag siya ay unlawfully detained. Okay? Pwede siyang tumulon sa bintana para makalabas. Pasagin niya yung bintana mo. Okay? So, that's right to break in and right to break out. Okay? Now, sa pagkakandak ng search, whether search of a house, room, or premise, it must be made in the presence of witnesses. Okay? Sabi sa rules of court, no search of a house, room, or any other premises shall be made except in the presence of the lawful occupant. Okay? Pag magkakandak ng search, kailangan nandyan yung lawful occupant. Lawful occupant lang. Okay? It's the general. Na kapag wala yung lawful occupant, pwede yung any member of his family. Okay? Now, kapag wala pa ring member of his family, then in the presence of two witnesses of sufficient age and discretion residing in the same locality. Okay, mga kapitbahay. Sufficient age and discretion. Okay? Pwede na yun. Okay? Take note ha. Witness dapat si lawful occupant. Pag wala si lawful occupant, bawal kang tumalon dito. Ito muna, yung member of his family muna. Okay? Pag wala pa rin, saka pa lang itong two witnesses. Okay? Now, kapag hindi nasunod yan, then violation ng Article 129 yan. Kahit pa sabihin natin legal yung search warrant, then merong abuse of authority na nangyari. Okay? Now, again, search warrant, valid yan for 10 days. Okay? Now, may nakalimutan tayo i-discuss dito. I think, ngayon lang pumasok sa isip ko. Yung mga personal property, subject of seizure. Okay? So, ano yung mga personal property na pwedeng ilagay sa search warrant? Una, yung subject ng offense. Let's say, may nahanap silang murder weapon na ganitong klase ng baril. Okay? So, pwedeng ayun yung nakalagay sa search warrant. Okay? Yung make and model ng baril na hinahanap nila. Okay? Particularity dapat yung mga stolen or embezzled and other fruits of the offense. Okay? Let's say, pera na galing sa illegal. Okay? O kaya naman, mga items na ginamit or pwedeng gamitin as a means of committing an offense. So, yun yung tatlong personal property that may be subject to or that may be put sa search warrant. Okay? Subject ng offense, yung mga stolen properties, mga gamit na pwedeng gamitin or intended to be used as a means of committing an offense. Okay? Now, once na makuha yung mga property na yan, okay? Merong resibong ibibigay sa'yo. Okay? So, a receipt for the property seized. Yung officer seizing the property under warrant, magbibigay siya ng detailed receipt for the same to the lawful occupant of the premises in whose presence of the search and seizure were made. Kung wala yung lawful occupant, dun sa members of the family. Kung wala, at least two witnesses. Sa kanila ibibigay yung resibo. Kung ano yung kinuha na property, saan nakuha yung property. Okay? Now, balik tayo dun sa I think nasabi ko na kanina sa probable cause. Ibig sabihin yan is merong facts and circumstances that would lead isang matinong tao to believe na probably yung object na hinahanap nila or object sought in connection with the offense nandun sa lugar sought to be searched. Okay? That's probable cause. So, hindi mo kailangan ng matinding ebidensya. Kailangan mo lang mapaniwala itong matinong tao na to. Okay? Na nandun yung baka nandun yung property. Okay? Now, anong mangyayari again kapag yung search warrant walang just cause? Okay? A search warrant is said to have been procured without just cause when it appears on the face of the affidavits filed in support of the application thereof through other evidence that the applicant have every reason to believe that the search warrant sought for was justified. Okay? Now, meron tayong tinatawag na test for lack of just cause. Okay? The true test of lack of just cause is whether yung affidavit filed in support of the application for search warrant has been drawn in such manner that perjury could be charged thereon and affiant be held liable for damages caused. Okay? That's the true test of just cause. Paano mo malalaman if meron ba siyang just cause sa pag-kuha ng search warrant? Okay? O 130 na. Okay, so before we move on sa 130, I want you to take note that public officer na nag-procure ng search warrant without just cause, pwede rin siya maging liable for perjury. If they made a willful, deliberate assertion, na may sila ng mga affidavits, okay, para yun yung gamitin nila in support of the application for search warrant. Then, reiterate lang din natin dahil napakahalaga ng fruits of the poisonous tree. Again, yung evidence na nakuha in violation ng Section 2 or Section 3, yung rights mo against unreasonable searches and seizure, privacy of communication and correspondence, lahat ng evidence na makuha, no matter how strong, no matter how good evidence it is inadmissible for any purpose in any proceeding because that is a fruit of the poisonous tree. Okay? Now, may mga instances naman, nabanggit naman na natin kanina, in flagrante delicto, inaresto ka, pwede kang kapkapan. Okay? A person lawfully arrested may be searched for dangerous weapons or anything which may be used as a proof of the commission of an offense kahit wala siyang search warrant. Okay? Parang sa arrest yan, may mga instances na pwede ka mag-search na walang warrant. But it's not for book 2. Okay? It's for criminal procedure. Doon nyo na lang i-discuss. Okay? Now, okay, let's move on sa 130. So, searching of domicile without witnesses. So, penalty of arresto mayor in its medium, maximum period shall be imposed upon any public officer na naman. Okay? Who in cases where search is proper, okay? Search is proper, ibig sabihin, legal yung search warrant niya, shall search the domicile papers or other belongings of any person in the absence of the latter, any member of his family, or in their default without the presence of two witnesses residing in the same locality. Nabanggit ko kanina kung sino yung mga dapat witness mo sa pagkakandak ng search. Kapag hindi mo sinunod yan, then liable ka for Article 130. Okay? Pwede ka pa maging liable sa Article 129 dun sa abuse of authority. Okay? So, patong-patong na kaso ang pwede mo kaharapin. Okay? So, yan ang pwede mo maging future. I'm kidding. So, elements. Okay? I'm teaching you how to spot the elements base lang dun sa mismong provision. Kaya nga codal lang pinabili ko sa inyo. Okay? So, public officer or employee, that's the first element. Okay? So, ang nakakommit is public officer or employee. Tapos, meron siyang he is armed with search warrant legally procured. Ibig sabihin, nakapag-apply siya ng tama, may probable cause, nag-i-issue si judge, may particular description, may probable cause, okay? Mayroong personal examination na nagawa. The point is, legal yung search warrant. Okay? Now, he searches the domicile, pangatlo. He searches the domicile, papers, and other belongings of any person. Take note, itong papers or belongings na to, dapat nandun sa loob ng bahay. Okay? At the time the search was made. Wala sa labas, nasa loob. Okay? Or nandun sa premise na nakalagay sa search warrant. Okay? Pang-apat na element, the owner or any member of his family or two witnesses residing in the same locality is not present. Okay? So, without the presence ng mga required witnesses. So, that's the 4 elements. Public officer, merong legal na search warrant, nag-search siya, pero walang witness. Okay? Now, take note, itong Article 130, hindi siya nag-a-apply sa searches of vehicles or any other means of transportations. Okay? Bakit? Kasi nakalagay naman sa title nung crime, searching domicile, tahanan. Okay? So, hindi kasama yung kotse, hindi kasama yung mga vehicles. Unless na lang, doon ka na ninirahan. Okay? Kasi may mga instances na ganun na yung vehicle is considered as a dwelling. Okay? Right? So, in cases where a search is proper. Ibig sabihin, si public officer at the time of the search is armed with the search warrant legally procured. Okay? Now, nag-search siya, ibig sabihin is to go over or look through for the purpose of finding something to examine, etc., etc. Okay? Now, nabanggit ko ba kanina? But, yung sa pagkakasunod-sunod, okay? Yung following order. Sino dapat pwede mag-witness? Si owner. Okay? Si occupant, si lawful occupant siya. Okay? Hindi pwedeng members of the family kagad, hindi pwedeng two witnesses kagad. Kung nandun si lawful occupant siya, dapat. Okay? Pag wala lang siya, saka papasok yung members of his family, sufficient age and discretion. Okay? Pag wala pa rin siya, then two witnesses of sufficient age and discretion then residing within the same locality. Okay? Now, unlike in Article 128, where public officer is not armed with a warrant, in crimes under Article 129 at 130, yung search is by virtue of a valid warrant. Okay? But kahit na meron silang valid warrant, the liability for the crime is still incurred through the following situation. Yung search warrant is what's the word? Hindi tama yung pagkaka-obtain. Okay? The officer exceeded the authority under the warrant. Okay? Si public officer nag-employ siya ng mga unnecessary or excessive severity in the implementation of the search warrant. Or yung owner ng dwelling or any member of the family was absent o kaya walang witnesses residing with us the same locality were not present during the search. Okay? Okay, next is Article 131. Okay? Haba na ito. Okay? Tatlong paragraph po. Ibig sabihin may tatlong acts. So, prohibition, ay, okay, in-interrupt mo, kaya din-solve mo yung peaceful meetings. Take note, meron kang right peaceably assembly, di ba? Banggit ko kanina. Okay? So, kapag pinohibit mo yun, in-interrupt mo, or dinisolve mo nang wala kang valid reason, that's the crime of Article 131. Okay? So, the penalty of prison correctional in its minimum period shall be imposed upon any public officer or employee who, without legal ground, shall prohibit or interrupt the holding of a peaceful meeting or shall dissolve the same. Okay? Same penalty shall be imposed upon any public officer or employee who shall hinder any person from joining any lawful association or from attending of any of its meetings. Okay? Employer ka, sabi mo sa employer na public officer, employee, sabi mo sa mga tao, o bawal kayo sumali sa mga union. Bawal naman yun. Okay? Violation yun nito. Okay? Same penalty shall be imposed upon any public officer or employee who shall prohibit or hinder any person from addressing either along or together with others any petition to the authorities for correction of abuses or redress of grievances. Okay? Let's say si public officer or employee is pinipigilan kanila na magkaso. Okay? O pinigilan nila kayo mag-rally without valid reasons. Okay? So, upon reading of the provisions, meron 3 acts punishable. Okay? So, meron 3 crimes under dito. Or 3 acts considered as violation ng Article 131. So, any of these three na ma-violate mo, na-violate mo na yung buong 131. Okay? Pag tatlo mismo yung na-violate mo, 3 counts yan. Okay? First is by prohibiting or by interrupting without legal ground. Dun sa first paragraph, holding a peaceful meeting or by dissolving the same. Okay? Pinohibit mo or ininterrupt mo yung nawalang legal ground. Yung pagtitipon-tipon nila. O kaya naman, pinaalis mo sila. Ay dinisolve mo sila. By hindering any person from joining any local association or from attending of any of its meetings. And by prohibiting or hindering any person from addressing either along together with others any petition to the authorities for the correction of abuses of or redress of grievances. Okay? Karapatan nyo na magtipon-tipon kayo kung kailan nyo gusto. Okay? Kailangan nyo ba ng permit para magtipon-tipon? The answer is no. Okay? Hindi mo kailangan ng permit. Kaya lang kumukuha ng permit yung iba para gumamit mo sa lugar. Kasi makakasagabal sila eh. Mali mo. Sa EDSA pala sila magra-rally. So, magkakaroon ng traffic, di ba? So, kailangan nila ng permit para gamitin yung lugar. Hindi para mag-rally. Okay? Kung gusto mo mag-rally sa mga Freedom Park, go ahead. Hindi mo kailangan ng permit. Freedom Park yun. Wala ka nang masasagabal dun. Mag-rally ka sa private property, no problem. Hindi mo kailangan ng permit. Okay? The point is, hindi mo kailangan ng permit sa pagra-rally. Ang kailangan mo is permit para gumamit ng isang public place. Okay? Now, elements. Offender, of course, is a public officer or employee. Okay? Tapos wala siyang legal grounds, he performs the following acts. Kahit isa dito sa tatlong paragraph na to. Nag-prohibit siya, interrupting without legal ground, holding ng peaceful meetings, or dissolving yung peaceful meetings na yan. Okay? Yung si public officer, pinigilan niya any person from joining any lawful association. Sabi, wag kayo sumali sa rally na yan, ha? Let's say, mayor ng isang syudad sa Bulacan. Okay? Dahil gusto mag-rally ng ibang tao kasi ayaw nila rin sa mayor. Okay? Kasi nasabot nga daw sa flood control. Ang ginawa ng mayor is, let's say, sinabihan niya yung mga empleyado na siya yung pumipirma ng kontrata or appointment. Huwag kayo sumali sa rally na yan. Pag sumali kayo, hindi ko pipirmahan yung mga kontrata niyo. Okay? That's violation netong Article 131. Okay? Because he hinders any person from joining any lawful association or from attending any of its meetings. Okay? By prohibiting or hindering any person from addressing, either alone or together with others, any petition to the authorities for the correction of abuses or redress of grievances. Okay? Now, take note, para maging liable ka sa Article 131, it is necessary na si offender, si public officer, is a stranger doon sa meeting. Hindi siya kasali doon sa meeting that has been interrupted and dissolved. Okay? Hindi siya kasama, hindi siya member ng pagtitipon-tipon. Okay? Stranger siya. Requirement yan. Okay? Para maging liable siya rito. Now, if yung offender is participant dun sa meeting, then liable siya for unjust vexation. Let's say, meeting ng municipal council. Yung isang, sabi natin, nagme-meeting yung buong sanggunian. Okay? Tapos, itong si public officer na hindi naman siya kasama sa meeting, bigla siyang pumasok doon. Puta, ng gulo. Okay? Pinrohibit niya yung lawful meeting na yan. Bawal kayo mag-meeting. Etc. Nagwala, nag-amok. So, violation yun ng Article 131. Stranger siya, hindi siya kasali doon sa meeting. Pero let's say, itong si chairman na kasama doon sa meeting, siya yung nag-amok. Ang crime niya is tinatawag na unjust vexation. Okay? Another title yan. Okay? Later down the line, di-discuss natin. But yun yung crime ng isang tao kapag participant siya. Tapos, nanggulo siya dun sa meeting na yun. In-interrupt niya or dinisolve niya. Okay? Now, Public officer to. Paano naman sir kung private individual? Then kung private individual yan, liable siya for Article 153. Yung disturbance of public order. Yun ang magiging crime niya. Ay, sorry, may nag-chat. So, saan na tayo? If to commit the crime under the first paragraph, si public officer dapat mag-a-act siya without legal ground. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kung kunwari is yung peaceful meeting nyo, may nag-aaway na, may nagtatalo-talo na, then, pwede niya ipa-dissolve yun. Okay? Kasi may legal ground na siya. Take note, yung right to a peaceful meeting nyo is not absolute. It may be regulated in order that it may be injurious to the equal enjoyment of others na meron din namang rights na ganun, nor injurious to the right of the community or society. Okay? Now, requiring a permit before any meeting or assembly cannot be construed as preventing peaceful assemblies. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na, oy, pinoprohibit mo kami na mag-assemble, bakit pinapakuha mo kami ng permit? Gagamitin nyo yung lugar na public na maraming masasagapal. Okay? Yung permit requirement shall be in the exercise only of the government's regulatory power. Para lang ma-regulate yung meeting nyo. Hindi siya permit to prevent peaceful assemblies. Okay? Itong requirement of permit is legal to as long as it is not being exercised as a prohibitory power. Okay? Pero let's say yung application mo para sa permit dinenay ng walang reason, okay? O kaya naman merong condition na binigay na that would defeat the exercise of the right to peaceably assemble is dictated by the officer, then mag-a-apply tong crime na to. Okay? Let's say, sige, papayagan ko yung mag-rally pero 10 tao lang. Okay? So, pag ganun, pwede natin sabihin violation siya na itong crime na to. Okay? Next. What's this? So, prohibition, interruption, or dissolution of peaceful meetings versus tumults and other disturbances, which is under 153. Yung sinabi ko kanina, di ba? Pag private person yung nag-interrupt, nag-prohibit, liable siya for disturbance, okay, of public order. Okay? So, ang pinagkaiba nila, parehas sila ng act, parehas nilang pinrohibit, okay? Dinisolve or ininterrupt yung peaceful meetings. Pero, kapag public officer ang gumawa, liable siya for Article 131. Kapag offender is private person, whether participant man siya sa assembly or hindi, then the crime is tumults and other disturbances. Disturbance ng public order. Okay? Now, as to the participation ng public officer, dito sa 131, again, yung public officer na offender, hindi dapat siya participant. Okay? Kasi pag participant siya, unjust vexation yan. Okay? Dito naman sa 153, the public officer is a participant to the assembly. Okay? Now, kapag yung meeting hindi na naging peaceful, magulo na, of course, meron ng legal ground para pahintuin. Okay? Now, pagdating naman sa mga municipal council, sorry sa example ko kanina, but take note, pagdating sa municipal council, tas in-interrupt and dinisolve siya ng public officer, crime yun against legislative body. Hindi siya 131. Okay? Ginawa ko lang siyang example kanina para mapakita ko lang na merong meeting nangyayari. Now, the person talking on prohibited subject at public meeting contrary to the agreement that no speaker should touch on politics may be stopped. Okay? However, pag inatake mo yung speaker who was attacking certain churches in a public meeting is a violation of Article 131. Okay? Let's say, tumayo siya dyan sa meeting, tapos pinuna niya ng pinuna itong isang religion na to. Okay? Tapos pinahinto mo siya, inatake mo siya, then violation yun ng Article 131. Okay? Kasuhan mo na lang siya ng offending religious feelings. Huwag mo na lang siya katakihin. Kasi pag inatake mo siya dun sa ginagawa niyang speech, then that's 131 kung public officer ka. Okay? Okay, next. Yung mga crimes against religious worship. Meron tayong dalawa. Nasabi ko kanina. Interruption of religious worship, Article 132, and offending religious feelings, 133. Okay. Unahin natin 132. So, the penalty of prison correctional in its minimum period, i-impose yan upon any public officer or employee who shall prevent or disturb the ceremonies or manifestations of any religion. Okay? If the crime shall have been committed with violence or threats, the penalty shall be prison correctional in its medium and maximum periods. Okay? Okay, so based dito, ano yung elements? Offender is of course a public officer or employee. So, anong ginawa ni public officer or employee na yan? Merong religious ceremonies. Okay? Merong religious ceremonies or manifestation of any religion na mangyayari. Okay? Or nangyayari. Kasalukuyang nangyayari na ceremony, manifestation, o meron palang gagawing ceremony. Okay? Tapos, itong si public officer, dinisturb niya or pinrevent niya. Okay? Let's say, bigla niyang hinarangan yung pinto para hindi makapasok yung mga yung mga magsisimba. Okay? Then, interruption of religious worship yan. Okay? Nag-announce sila, magsisimula po misa alas 9. O, ikaw public officer, ang ginawa mo. Hinarangan mo lahat ng entrance para walang makapasok. Okay? That's interruption of religious worship. Okay? Public officer, may mangyayaring ceremony or manifestation, mahalaga yan. Meron dapat ceremony. Kasi pag nantitrip lang yan na nagsasalita dyan sa daan, walang ganun. Hindi yun interruption ng religious worship. Okay? So, merong ceremony o manifestation na mangyayari ang isang religion. Then, pinrevent mo na mangyayari yung manifestation na yan. Or kaya dinisturb mo, hinistorbo mo sila. Okay? That's the three elements. Now, naka-qualify ang offense, tumataas yung penalty if the crime shall have been committed with violence and threats. Okay? Doon sa paghaharang mo, may dala-dala kang baril. Sabi ko, pag pumasok dyan, tatamaan. Okay? So, na-qualify ngayon, tumaas ngayon yung penalty mo kasi meron ng pananakot na nangyari. Okay? Now, public officer or employee to. Sir, paano kapag private individual? Pwede siya maging liable sa 133 dito. Okay? Kasi ito, any person to, anyone. Okay? Yan yung isa sa mga exemption na binanggit ko noong una pa lang. Okay? Na pwede siyang i-commit ng kahit sino. Okay? So, dito sa 132, pag in-interrupt, public officer yan. Kapag private, doon ka sa 133. Okay? Now, preventing a religious ceremony that is to take place is a violation ng Article 132. Okay? Pero let's say, si A tsaka si B, nagbabasa lang sila ng Bible sa isang public plaza. Hindi siya ceremony. So, kung sakali mang pinrevent sila o dinisturb sila, sa 133 na papasok siguro yan, pero hindi sa 132. Okay? Now, persons who meet for the purpose of religious worship by any method which is not indecent and unlawful have the right to do so without being molested or disturbed. Okay? Let's say Bible study sa bahay nyo. Okay? Pinrevent or dinisturb, then that's 132. Okay? Now, 133 tayo. Okay? So, the penalty of arresto mayor in its maximum period to present correctional in its minimum period shall be imposed upon anyone, ay anyone, hindi na siya public officer lang, anyone in a place devoted to religious worship or during the celebration of any religious ceremony shall perform acts notoriously offensive to the feelings of the faithful. Okay? Napaka dito, yes, masabi natin masaktan lang yung damdamin nung isang ang tao sa kanila, debo, hindi naman botante yun eh. Deboto yata yun. Okay? So, masaktan lang yung feelings nila. Okay? Pwede na sila magkaso nito. Kapag may ginawa ka na nakasakit sa damdamin sa paniniwala nila, sa pananampalataya nila. Okay? So, very, very thin ice tong 133 na to. Okay? So, anong elements? Yung acts complained were performed in a place, okay, in a place of religious worship. Let's say, bigla ka naghubad dun sa simbahan nila. O kaya, pumasok ka sa Iglesia ni Cristo, bigla ka nag-sign of the cross dun. Okay? So, ginawa mo siya devoted, in a place devoted sa religious worship. O kaya naman, during the celebration of any religious ceremony, okay, let's say anniversary nila, okay, tapos gumawa ka ng mga acts notoriously offensive to the feelings of the faithful. Okay? So dito, hindi necessary, hindi katulad ng 132 na dapat may ceremony. Dito, hindi necessary na merong religious worship. Okay? Take note that Article 133 is the only crime against fundamental law of the state that may be committed hindi lang ng public officer but anyone. Okay? Kasama yung private person. Okay? So, again, hindi dapat merong religious worship. Okay? Pero dapat nandun sa lugar devoted for religious worship. Okay? Kahit pa sabihin natin walang tao ron sa simbahan, pero doon ka gumawa ng mga acts notoriously offensive. Let's say, pumunta ka sa iglesia, sinunog mo yung, kung meron mang picture nung, sino ba yung founder ni si Manalo, nagsunog ka ng picture ni Manalo ron sa loob ng simbahan. Kahit pa sabihin natin na walang misang nangyayari, pwede kang makasuhan ng Article 133. Okay? Now, religious ceremonies are those religious acts performed outside of a church, such as mga processions, special prayers, paglilibing, di ba? May mga misa pa yan. Okay? So, ano ba? Acts notoriously offensive. Yung acts must be directed against religious practice or dogma or ritual for the purpose of ridicule. Okay, naaasar mo yung paniniwala nila. Okay? Kinukutsa mo yung paniniwala nila. Minamalit mo yung paniniwala nila. Okay? In order to attempt to damage an object of religious veneration. Okay? Dito, dapat merong deliberate intent na saktan yung damdamin ng mga deboto. Okay? Mere arrogance or rudeness, hindi yan enough. Hindi porket masamang tao lang talaga yan, hindi lang talaga maganda yung sinasabi niya, liable na kagad siya dito. Hindi. Kailangan merong deliberate intent na saktan. Okay? Now, yung offense to feelings is judged from complainant's point of view. Kung nasaktan ba siya o hindi. Kung hindi naman siya nasaktan, edi hindi. Walang crime na ganito. Okay? Okay, before we end, tanong. Okay? Si Baez, habang merong funeral of makabigtas in accordance with the rites of religious sect known as the Church of Christ. Ang ginawa ni Baez, gumawa siya ng acts that caused the funeral to pass through the churchyard belonging to the Roman Catholic Church. Okay? Now, yung parish priest, nag-file siya ng complaint against Baez for violation ng 133. Sabi niya, ba't dinadala nyo dito yung Church of Christ nyo? Ba't dinadala nyo rito sa cementerio namin? Liable ba si Baez? The answer is no. Okay? Yung ginawa ni Baez does not constitute the offense complaint of. At most, they might be chargeable with having threatened the parish priest or having passed through private property na wala namang consent ng owner. Siguro doon. Pero yung act of is said to be notoriously offensive sa feelings ng faithful when a person ridicules o minamaliit nila yung paniniwala ng isang tao. Wala namang ganun nangyari dito. Okay? So, yung act of causing passage through the churchyard belonging to the church, of the funeral of one who in life belonged to the Church of Christ, neither offends nor ridicules yung religious feelings of those who belong to the Roman Catholic Church. Okay? So, wala. Okay? So, that is title 2. Okay? Crimes against fundamental laws of the state. Okay?